Hey, welcome to the channel. I look forward to this video every single year. These are the 2022 Smartwatch Awards, and after reviewing dozens of smartwatches throughout the year and testing basically every single one that came out, these are my picks for the very best smartwatches. But rather than just ranking them like 1 through 5, I want to break it down by different needs because everyone uses them for different things. Some people care about battery life, some people care about style, some people care about fitness tracking abilities, and different things like that. So the categories we're going to talk about in this video, the awards so to speak, are the best hybrid smartwatch, the best smartwatch for working out, the best looking, obviously subjective, but I'll give you my opinion on that, the best for small wrists. This is a new category I didn't include in the past, but for anyone who has really tiny wrists, there are smartwatches for you out there. The best new player in the game, the best value, the best fitness band, and of course the best overall, split into Apple and Android because they're not always compatible. So starting off with the very first award, the best hybrid smartwatch. I've always been a huge fan of hybrid smartwatches for their incredible battery life, their superior aesthetics, at least in my opinion, and their ability to still do a lot of smartwatchy things, from notifications to ECGs and heart rate tracking and step tracking and all the basics that you probably want on a day-to-day basis. Now, they don't have like GPS, they don't have the more advanced functions, you can't get Uber on them, but you get a lot of the basics of a smartwatch. And the winner this year is none other than the Withings ScanWatch Horizon. I think it's a beautiful looking watch. I love the way they designed this. It's a solid feeling watch, and at first glance, nobody would know it's a smartwatch. So that makes it perfect for wearing into an office or dressing up with this watch. But at the same time, like I said, it'll track your steps. It has an ECG on here. It can even track your sleep as well. And the Withings app has a lot of detailed analytics on your health, making this a clear winner. But of course, hybrid smartwatches are not ideal for anybody whose primary focus is tracking workouts. You want a great GPS, you want the best heart rate sensor out there, you want something that's thin and light and lasts a long time with the battery. And while you can get into sports watches, that's an entirely different category. Focusing first on smartwatches, right? The display looks like a smartwatch, you get notifications like a smartwatch, you have Spotify, all those things. The winner, in my opinion, for this category is the Garmin Venue 2 Plus. I've actually been wearing this as my everyday smartwatch for a good couple months in the past year. I really loved this watch. And although Garmin's interface is not nearly as refined as the likes of Wear OS or Samsung's interfaces or Apple's interfaces for that matter, it still gets the job done. You're able to see a lot of your health analytics, and on long workouts, you can customize the display, you can listen to offline Spotify, and most importantly, it's thin, it's light, it has a long battery life, and it's incredibly accurate while still connecting to a lot of other accessories, from wireless earbuds for listening to music while you run, to heart rate straps if you want something even more accurate, and of course syncing with things like Strava and other apps, besides just the Garmin app, which is already a really good one. But I want to give you an alternative. If money is absolutely no issue to you, then you can consider the Apple Watch Ultra. Now the Apple Watch Ultra, you probably heard a lot about it, has a longer battery life, a much larger design, and it's really meant for more active styles of working out. Now for me, my measly 10-mile runs don't really qualify for needing an Apple Watch Ultra, but if you're doing anything longer, that could be a really solid watch. I think right now, from my observations, it's mostly just like tech nerds buying it, not so much the hardcore athletes. A lot of them are still buying the sports watches from Suunto and Garmin and you know, Polar and other companies like that. But again, sports watches are another topic. The next award is for the best new player. Every year we have new companies coming out with smartwatches that previously never made smartwatches. And many times these are total flops. Other times they're a real contestant. And so the point of this category is that this is a smartwatch to keep your eye on. A smartwatch that's probably going to be getting updates to make it a lot better. A smartwatch that is definitely going to be a really strong contender in its second generation. And this is the Google Pixel Watch. It was really hyped up a lot, and when they first launched it, I thought for sure I was going to be disappointed, but I was pleasantly surprised. And I've worn this watch pretty much every day for the past month, and there's a lot to like about it. I love how the software and the interface really works pretty smoothly, honestly, and on top of that, they do a good job of masking the bezel. Unlike a lot of other watches out there that just have color displays all the way up to the edge and you see a large bezel, this one kind of fades to black all the way around, and you don't even realize that you have that large black bezel around there. There is room for improvement, so I'm not giving this the best overall smartwatch, but it's a really strong contender, and I would say that it's definitely in top 5, and considering its first generation, I was very happy to see that. Next category being the best looking smartwatch. This is obviously very subjective, so a couple little shout outs here. We have things like the Fossil Gen 6, which I think is a really nice looking smartwatch, as well as the Skagen Gen 6, and many others out there, all of which slated to get the Wear OS 3 update. Actually, they already did get that update, but the winner of this category, in my opinion, has to be the Samsung Galaxy Watch 4. Now, this is a year old, but the reason I'm still recommending it is because in almost all aspects, it really is identical to the new Galaxy Watch 5, except the Watch 4 Classic has a physical rotating bezel. It's extremely satisfying to use. I love having this watch, and on top of that, like I said, you really do get everything that the Galaxy Watch 5 has, from bioimpedance measurements to ECG to GPS accuracy, all that stuff. It's still a really solid watch, and so even though it's a generation older, I would by no means overlook this watch. It's still part of Samsung's lineup, and I think it's a really strong buy for anybody that wants a nicer looking smartwatch, but doesn't want to go all the way to a hybrid smartwatch. But talking about aesthetics of smartwatches, some people have smaller wrists, and a large watch like this just might not look good on your wrist. And if that's the case, there are smaller watches out there, and probably the smallest one that I've seen, while still being a pretty decent watch, is more like a hybrid watch in a way. This is the Garmin Lily. It's more of a feminine design, and it's incredibly small, while still giving you a basic touchscreen. Like I said, very similar to Garmin's hybrid watches, but it doesn't have analog hands. Instead, it has kind of a nice little pattern, and there are several different designs. So if you have a small wrist and you want something subtle that still looks pretty nice on your wrist, the Garmin Lily could be the perfect one for you. Next up, the best value smartwatch. I know I'm gonna get some debate for this. Some people might say some Amazfit watches or Huawei watches. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think the best value smartwatch is. But for me, especially in the United States, I think this is a no-brainer. The Apple Watch SE delivers a flagship level watch experience, great interface, great integration, fantastic accuracy, the whole suite, everything that the Apple Watch offers, but at a substantially lower price. This is about half the price of the Apple Watch 8, and the newest Apple Watch SE, the second generation, really is a fantastic watch. There's not a whole lot that you're compromising, with some exceptions with the display and some exceptions with like an ECG and things like that. But I would say most people out there who are even considering an Apple Watch should just ignore the Apple Watch Ultra, ignore the Apple Watch 8, and go right to the SE. You probably won't even notice a difference most of the time, like I said, unless you really need an ECG or some of those little fringe features that the flagship models do have. But if you are on a tighter budget than that, if you don't want to spend $260, $280, by the way, I'll have links down below for all of these. I spent a lot of time digging up the latest sales, and I'll put those in the description below. But if you want to spend even less than the Apple Watch SE, there are some incredibly cheap options out there. So the winner of this category, the best fitness band, the best on a budget really, is the Mi Band 7. So the Xiaomi Mi Band 7 offers, really, they keep getting better and better every year. It's very light, it's very subtle, it's very comfortable, while at the same time giving you a surprising amount of smartwatch features. From a remote shutter capability, it shows you the weather on here, you get notifications on here, it lets you know when you're getting phone calls, and it's surprisingly accurate with your heart rate when you're on a workout. So considering how cheap this is, I was really blown away by just how accurate it was from my measurements. And then finally, the best overall. But I'm splitting this into Apple and Android because they're not cross-compatible. And so starting off with Apple, although I said most people out there would be perfectly happy saving the money, going with an Apple Watch SE, the truth is if you really want the best and money's no issue, it gets tricky, right? Do you want to get the Apple Watch 8 or the Apple Watch Ultra? They're almost two completely different devices, so the best overall everyday smartwatch, I think the Apple Watch 8 would probably win this one because you're already getting essentially the full suite of features. It works as a fantastic everyday watch, and it's a little bit smaller, so it's gonna fit better under clothing, and it's not a massive bulky watch. That's my pick, I don't know. And then we have the best overall for Android. Now, Samsung came out with the Galaxy Watch 5 and the Watch 5 Pro. Of course, we have the Google Pixel Watch, we've got the Fossil and the Skagen watches, and out of all of them, I did actually compare one-to-one the Galaxy Watch and the Pixel Watch, and I said that for a lot of people, you probably would be better off getting the Galaxy Watch. It kind of hurt me to say that, but looking at the overall best watch of the year for Android users, I think the Samsung Galaxy Watch 5 Pro is a clear pick here. I like the raised edges on there. They really make the digital bezel feel more natural. It's not a totally massive watch. It feels like a little bit bigger, but not as big as I expected. And at the same time, you're getting a lot of great features on there that are known for Samsung, while still getting a slightly better battery than you had on the Galaxy Watch 5 regular. So those are my picks. Overall, the best smartwatches of 2022. And for whichever one you're most interested in, I have a full review and I'll link them down below, as well as a lot of comparisons. So feel free to dig around my channel and find any comparisons that you're interested in. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking and subscribing. I'll have plenty more smartwatch videos in 2023. I'll see you next time.